Few days ago we saw Shanghai upgrade for Ethereum, and now people are allowed to unstake their Ethereum. And after this upgrade we saw a surge in price for around 5%, and now you're probably wondering if you're gonna see Ethereum rally, is the Bitcoin rally gonna continue, or we're gonna see an alt season. So in this video I will try to deep dive more from different perspectives into this topic and try to elaborate what I think is going to happen next. Hello folks, my name is Željko and welcome to Unsymmetry. So regarding the Shanghai upgrade, if you watch my previous videos, you could see that even in the previous videos I was always mentioning that I don't expect huge change in price after the Shanghai upgrade, and many people were claiming how we're gonna drop in price highly and things like that. But obviously, like, one of the reasons why that didn't happen is because still on some platforms, for example on Binance, you still can't unstake your Ethereum. It should happen during this month, probably near the end. And another reason is that you still can't unstake the Ethereum from the Lido, where actually there is around 33-34% of overall Ethereum staked. For the current Ethereum that was already unstaked, majority of that comes from Kraken exchange, mainly because of the regulations and from the fact that you won't be able to stake your assets on Kraken exchange at all in the future, so this affects Ethereum as well. Now let's go to the charts and some other data that I prepared for you today, which I think will help you to understand further where we are going forward. If we take a look into the Ethereum chart, we can see that we finally managed to break the resistance in $1950 to $2,000. And like, if we see the previous price action, this is like the first time like after a year that we managed to break above $2,100, which is in my opinion pretty bullish. It really depends on how the macroeconomic factors plays out and overall crypto market, but in my opinion this is really bullish for Ethereum. So what is coming next? I can see the multiple scenarios. As I said, it depends on multiple factors, but one of the most bullish things in my opinion would be if we get to the area of 2.3k and then we test support at 2000, we just go slightly below it to take the liquidity and then we continue going up. Another possible scenario is that we test another support at like $1,670 and then we go up. But again, as I mentioned, like, if overall market crash, like, we could see a slight drop in price to maybe even $1,500. Honestly, like, this is the area where I still wouldn't be that concerned, but if we drop below it, that wouldn't be a good for Ethereum in my opinion. Next, if we compare Ethereum to the Bitcoin price, we can see that the Bitcoin in Ethereum is pretty much going in one channel, pretty much from 0.053 area to maybe around 0.081-82 area, and now we just felt below support at like 0.66. We stayed there for 3 weeks and now we broke above it, which is in my opinion a bullish sign for Ethereum, and especially if we take into account other factors that are happening around it, the most likely scenario in my opinion would be that we have a slight pullback in price, we hold support or we fall just slightly below it again, and then once we continue going up, the Ethereum dominance in my opinion should follow as well, and soon, like pretty much after the sell-offs from Binance, as I said, and Lido, I would expect Ethereum probably to be like the best risk reward asset to invest in. If we take a look into the funding rates, one of the things that I like to see is I like to see negative funding rate when the price is going up. That's not very common, but in this case honestly I would expect a slight pullback that is either gonna happen at 2.3k or pretty much soon. The thing that I would really like to see is that we see a huge negative funding rate, as we could see here, on a pullback. The next thing that I wanted to go through is Bitcoin dominance, Altcoin dominance, and Ethereum dominance. And we can see that the Bitcoin dominance is slightly going down and the Ethereum dominance is constantly going up. Altcoin dominance increased just in the last few days. Majority of the people are already talking how the altcoin season started, and they're like, if you haven't invested already, you're already too late. But in my opinion, I think that this is gonna be another fake out as we had here and as we had here, for example. And usually if you watch the charts, when we have this some kind of the fake out as here, you can see that we had a decrease in price afterwards. Even though the fear and greed index is now turning into greed, I still don't believe that people feel confident, especially larger players, that we are in a bull run. I think that majority of the people realize that this is just a relief valley. We don't know how long it will last. It might last to like 50k, but I don't believe that we're gonna have triple top or something like that. We might start dropping in price really soon as well. One of the things that I wanted to address and which I think is really important in the long term is like staked ratio of Ethereum, which is at 15%. I don't believe that it's going to match like Cardano, Solana or something like that, like 60%. But even if we get like to 30, 35, 40%, that would be super bullish for Ethereum, since it's like the only deflationary layer 1 solution. And this is like one of the reasons why Ethereum is unique. And also if you look what's coming up in the next upgrade, we're gonna have increased number of transactions per second, which is probably another thing that will increase demand further. And as you can see, since it's deflationary coin, like even though the rewards are like slightly lower in comparison to other chains, when you look into adjusted rewards are pretty good. And since Ethereum is like the largest and most adopted chain so far, I think pretty much anything else to even be viable as a solution, it has to be interoperable with Ethereum. Also, we saw the recent price action of Arbitrum, which increased above 20% in a day or two or something like that. We have a ZK Sync airdrop incoming soon. I might record a video about that as well in the soon future. And in general, I believe that Ethereum is gonna turn to definitely best risk reward asset in the soon future, maybe even better than Bitcoin, because what's better than having like a fixed supply of 21 million? It's better that you have a deflationary asset that is used pretty much every day. So the next thing that I wanted to address is if we take a look at the amount of inflow and outflow of Ethereum, either in Ethereum or dollar value, we can see that like pretty much the first day we had a huge amount of withdrawals, but afterwards we pretty much see that the majority of people are actually withdrawing their rewards and not the initially staked assets. And if we see the amount of deposits is actually pretty consistent, and I think that like after we see a slight outflow of it in the next month or so, after that we're gonna see more deposits, or like big institutional players become like more secure that this is actually the right option and the right thing to do. We might see a small decrease in rewards from maybe 4.5 to 4% or something like that. But in general, as I said, I think that the amount of stake it will increase. Will probably go now from like 15 to maybe, I don't know, 12%, and then increase to 30-40% or something in that range, which will eventually lead to the point that we have a much lower supply and that the demand is consistent or even increasing due to more projects built on the top of the Ethereum. I really like this Dune Analytics website. Another thing that is really interesting for me is that you can see how much Ethereum is staked on each protocol, and you can see, for example, that there is so much of it staked on Lido Finance, and you can see that the next thing is probably centralized exchanges. The only things that are slightly bearish in my opinion is amount of the transactions on Ethereum, which are slowly decreasing. I saw the similar thing for the developers activity, but I think to some point this is even logical because people are waiting to see how this gonna play out. Is everything gonna be good after the upgrade? And as we can see, everything went great, so I expect this activity to increase in the soon future. So I'm really happy to see that the Ethereum upgrade went well and that we saw a surge in price to 2k, and even though that I think that this is slightly bearish on a short term once all the potential ETH unlocks. Of course we're gonna have some threshold above which you won't be able to unstake your ETH, but pretty much I think in the next month or two we can see a slow pullback in price. But afterwards, on a long term, like looking 1 year, 2 years from now, I think that this is pretty bullish for the overall crypto market. I'm also looking to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also consider joining Discord server as well. Thank you for watching this video. Stay strong and healthy. Bye.